one, scene 3, take 2.
Well, Julie, here we are together, getting to do a video, and you look absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah, and we've been married for 9 years next month.
Yeah.
And so today we wanted to get on and talk about 3 things that we have found that make a relationship great. 3 things that we've committed to and that have been really game changers in our dynamic in our relationship.
Yeah, and clearly this won't be the 3 things.
It's not that's too much pressure to find the 3 things,
Yeah.
but we found just 3 things.
3 attributes that have our 10 years of relationship together have been marked by these in a profound way, that we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't have the relationship we have, and we don't want to limit this just to marriage, because it really is applicable to any relationship.
Every relationship,
Yeah.
with even with your parents, with your friends, with
So
your
true.
siblings, coworkers, your boss, any dynamic. If you apply these attributes and really grow in these things, it'll make your relationship better.
Yeah.
So,
and
babe, what's the first one?
The first of them would be vision. I can tell you, when we were dating, and I was as silly as
You were a vision.
as silly as any 19-year-old has ever been, he saw in me really what I would look like as a 28-year-old, what would come to pass in my life if I would step into who God had originally created me to be.
Yeah.
And I didn't really question it, because I had pretty much won the lottery. I didn't want to really talk about it too much. The jig would be up. But, and he didn't just have the vision and tell me about it and say, go on, run with that, really work towards it. It was a day in, day out, like, let's grow, let's go through this together.
Yeah.
Let's become the people that we each see in one another.
Yeah.
And from that vision really came the intentionality.
Yeah, and I love that idea. If you treat someone as they are right now in the present, they will remain as they are.
Yeah.
But if you treat them as they could and as they should be, they will become something more. And that's what God does with us. He calls us sons and daughters before we ever
Absolutely.
act like sons or daughters of the
Yeah.
Most High. And so that was the first point. So find a vision for that relationship.
Yes.
The second point, what is it, Ben?
Intentionality.
Intentionality.
As I said, you need to put in the work.
Put in the work, the day-to-day.
Yeah, the habits
Yes.
that are going to eventually turn you into that person. And these are daily habits. This isn't, the big picture stuff is always in the details.
And it's being intentional with our words. It's being
Yeah.
intentional with what we do. It's being
Yes.
intentional in what we speak over each other.
What we don't do, what we don't speak.
Absolutely. And we
Yeah.
talk about excellence being in the details. It's in the small things that make a big difference. So that's the second one. So vision is big picture. Intentionality is taking that big picture and making it a day-to-day reality. So what's the third attribute?
And the third is sacrifice. So none of this is going to come to pass. You can talk about it, you can make whatever plans you want to make, but unless you get in there, you get down and dirty in the sacrifice of the day-to-day,
Yeah.
of the laying your life down in a way that will never make sense to you. It will never make sense to the self, to the pride that's deep inside of you. So it has to be bigger than that. It has to be bigger than you.
Well, and you have to have a vision. And I think a lot of people get scared when they hear the word sacrifice.
Yeah.
But the reality is Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice. And it says in Hebrews 12 that he went to the cross with joy, because there was joy set before him. Why?
Yes.
Because he had this vision of us. He had a vision of relationship with us, of a connection, of an intimacy that wasn't possible before Christ did what he did on the cross. And so when we have that idea of sacrifice, we're able to exchange short-term negatives for long-term positives. We're willing to do things in the moment that are difficult or hard, because society tells us you can have everything, you can do anything, be reckless with your sexuality, be careless with your relationships, be selfish with your money. But the reality is, if you live like that, you will find yourself devoid of meaningful relationships.
Yeah, and those are basically short-term positives for long-term negatives.
Exactly.
So the choice is yours. It's not you're just going to stay the same. You really are making those small choices all day long.
Absolutely, and our lives are built on relationships. If you look at everything meaningful in our lives, it starts with our relationship with God and then our relationship with each other. So take the time to really think about these 3 attributes, apply them to your life, apply them to every relationship that God has entrusted to you, and as you do, you're going to see those relationships flourish.
Yeah, quick recap: vision, intentionality, and sacrifice. Thanks.
Thanks.